Japan's parliament debates expanding the role of the SDF, while the Australians on Indonesia's death row near execution. Plus, a senior Daesh member is nabbed, and fighting graft in China gets serious. For Thursday, March 5th, 2015, this is the Asia Brief. It's perhaps the most politically divisive issue in Japan, expanding the role of the so-called self-defense force, and Prime Minister Abe has made it no secret. He wishes Japan to have an even greater presence in Asia and help ensure its stability. To that end, last year, the cabinet reinterpreted Article 9 of the Constitution to allow collective self-defense. The measure met with fierce opposition. In fact, polls showed that over 50% of the Japanese population weren't supportive, and a recent poll put over 80% wanting the nation to pursue a peaceful path, including the emperor. The exact role of Japan's SDF is still up for debate, and Abe's Liberal Democratic Party and coalition Komeito Party can't even come to an agreement on what that role should be. The LDP seeks liberal use of force, while the Komeito remains hesitant, wondering if going weapons-free might violate the Constitution. Those close to the debate place the discussion really focusing on two different issues: the use of weapons for so-called self-preservation, namely minimal use of weapons by the SDF to protect themselves and those under their care, and mission execution use, allowing SDF members to eliminate resistance in carrying out their missions with warning shots or other activities. Currently, only self-preservation weapon use is allowed, but it's no secret that Abe wants the latter as well. Despite this big push by the Prime Minister to create a law permanently endorsing the reinterpretation of Article 9, the Komeito hasn't bought into it yet. At present, the Cabinet's reinterpretation only allows for so-called mission execution use when the SDF personnel are on UN peacekeeping missions. Mayuran Sukumaran and Andrew Chan, the convicted ringleaders of the Bali Nine, were transferred Wednesday from a prison to a maximum security facility where they will be held before being executed. Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott again pleaded for clemency, saying, quote, "Australians are feeling sick in their guts at the prospect of execution for these two. We abhor drug crime, but we abhor the death penalty. We think that these two Australians deserve to be punished, but they certainly don't deserve to be executed." End quote. Once the pair reach their final destination, they will be informed that a 72-hour clock will begin counting down, ending with their meeting a 12-member firing squad. Indonesian President Joko Widodo hasn't budged on his stance on capital punishment, saying he's carrying out the execution, partly because narcotics kill 18,000 Indonesians every year. During separate operations, the Malaysia Special Branch Counterterrorism Division captured 3 people suspected of being affiliated with Daesh, including one that may be a senior member. A 39-year-old civil servant was arrested in Kuala Lumpur. A 29-year-old housewife who is said to have recruited a 14-year-old girl into the militant movement was arrested in Muar, and a 22-year-old trader was arrested in Perak. The trader is suspected of funding the young girl's trip after being recruited by the housewife. The civil servant is suspected of making sure the entire operation ran smoothly and is said to be a senior member of Daesh. Inspector General of Police, Khalid Abu Bakar, said all 3 suspects had planned to travel to Syria in the near future, and vowed not to allow Malaysia to become a recruiting source for the militant group, pledging to use whatever resources were necessary to hunt them down. Yu Zhengsheng, chair of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, singled out former Vice Chairman Ling Ji-hua and Su Rong in a report, making it the first time in almost 20 years that a chairman has broached the subject of corruption at an annual meeting. Quote, "We must take this as a warning and strengthen the building of our team to continue to stay firmly on the path of improving party conduct, upholding integrity, and combating corruption." End quote. Since coming to power, President Xi Jinping has been on a mission to eliminate corruption from the rank and file, both within the government and the military, at least on the surface. Use remarks come as Reuters News reports. Former Vice Chair of the Central Military Commission, Galbo Zhang, is being investigated for corruption, as is his son, a deputy political commissar of the military in eastern Zhejiang province. Be sure to keep up with more news from the region by following Asian News Weekly on Facebook and Twitter. You can also send an email to the show with your questions, your comments, and your feedback. Just drop a line to podcast@asiannewsweekly.net. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your friends and subscribe. You can do that to this and other podcasts at our website, asiannewsweekly.net, or in your favorite podcast application like iTunes or Stitcher. Subscribing is free, and when you do, the next episode is delivered automatically to you. Thank you so much for joining me. For the Asia Brief, I'm Steve Miller.